Hi guys, this is Wednesday and welcome to episode 2 of Just Keep Spinning. It is Thursday, January 9th, for another few minutes anyways. I'm recording this video kind of late because I had a lot of trouble getting the baby to the bed, and that happens sometimes. So if you'll notice, I actually got a really cool new webcam thanks to a friend of mine, so now you don't have to see me be quite so blurry and dim and fuzzy as before, because now I don't have to use the one that comes on the computer. I can use this fancy awesome one, so that's really cool. I haven't really done a whole bunch of crafty stuff this week. I've been pretty busy actually. It's starting to get to be the busy season at work, so I've been doing that. I've been doing a lot of stuff online. I have been working on some stuff, just less with the actual yarn. What stuff do you ask? I'm glad that you asked. Okay, so if you're on Ravelry, which I think that you should be, because if you're watching this, you're probably just as excited about yarn as I am, and Ravelry is a great website for that. They just recently introduced, I don't know what recently really means, I don't know, maybe a few months back, some spinner-friendly options, which they didn't used to have. It used to be just knitting and crocheting, and they've been adding in other yarn crafts over time, and they've been doing a really great job of it. So now not only can you stash fiber instead of just yarn, you have a whole page of all your different fibers, and of course there's no way in the world all of my fibers will fit. It would take me days and days and days, but I do have a lot of them on there now, which I'm pretty proud of myself about. But then you can use that stashed fiber to make hand spinning projects, and then have a hand spun yarn stash, which is even cooler because now there's finally a way to show it off. It's not the same kind of thing where you used to be able to stash commercial yarn. Now you can kind of differentiate. It's easier to look for other people's hand spun. It's easier to share your hand spinning projects with different spinning groups on Ravelry, which there are actually quite a few of. It's kind of catching on, so I really love that feature. So what I did was, with the help of the same friend who gave me this webcam, I figured out some cool stuff on my camera to make my pictures not suck quite so hard. So I have a lot of really cool yarn photos now. So I tried to organize all of those and get those up on Ravelry. So now I'm going to put some links down at the bottom of this, so when you see these little glimpses of the stuff that I've been working on, you can actually go there and look at all the pretty pictures of the finished projects, of the works in progress, finished objects, all that kind of cool stuff. I'm going to start actually putting it up there. I'm not very good at, like I mentioned, stashing all the fiber that I have, so I usually make that stash entry right before I make the hand spinning entry, so it kind of goes up all at once. But yeah, I'm 13 Wednesdays at Ravelry. Links down at the bottom. You can check all my pretty pictures that I just took out there. It's pretty cool stuff. So onward to... Oh wait, I do have one more thing to talk about. The other thing that kind of occupied some of my time this week is 2013 finished. We're done. We're 2014 now, which of course means everybody has their 2013 favorites lists out. So I have been perusing many a list of patterns, stitches, people's favorites from 2013, and I've been having a lot of fun looking at those. Off the top of my head, New Stitch a Day, which is on YouTube, and they also have their own website. They put out a how-to video on one crochet stitch and one knit stitch a day, I think is how it works. And they put out over the last couple of weeks their favorite stitches from 2013, so that was really exciting to look at because I love trying out new stitches. Even if I'm not really making anything with it, it's still fun to practice. And then Red Heart, actually, whether you like Red Heart yarn or not, they have excellent free patterns out all the time. They put them on their Twitter, they put them on their website. Those eventually make their way to Ravelry as well. So they put out a list recently here too about their favorite 2013 patterns. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that you get to look at if you missed it over the past year, because no one can follow everything, to kind of go look at the best ofs. and see what to maybe make over the course of the next year. Of course, my wish list for things to make over the next year is extensive and thoroughly unreasonable, but I think all of ours are in fact unreasonable. So yeah, since I haven't been doing a whole bunch of crafting, I haven't really finished anything. I did get the first ply done of that suri lace that I was working on, the suri lace and Firestar blend that I was showing you guys last week. I have the first ply of it finished right here. It is much prettier in real life than I can really show on the camera, but it is tiny. I like making tiny yarn, so I'll take pictures with my fancy new camera mad skills later, and you guys can actually see how pretty it is in real life. But so bobbin number 1 complete. It's small because it's only like an ounce. Bobbin number 2 is getting started tonight before I go to bed, so that'll be fun. I have not done any knitting. No knitting at all. Screw knitting. Not screw knitting. Just haven't really had the time for it. I don't really want to start a new project, but I don't want to really work on that scarf right now. So kind of been focusing on the other stuff like I mentioned before. I am, while we're talking about knitting though, I am trying to work myself up to finishing sewing in ends. I hate sewing in ends. It's the devil, and I never do it, and I hate doing it because I don't want to sew. I want to knit, and I want to crochet, and I want to spin, but I do not want to finish all these little strands. I made baby socks. I actually made these a couple of months ago, so these are my baby socks. They probably don't even fit him anymore, but they were really quick to work up, and for the love of God, I cannot find that pattern anywhere. As soon as I do find it, I'll put up a link, but I didn't really follow the pattern for these socks exactly anyways. I just kind of took advice on how to do the toe and the heel, and then I kind of winged it on the rest of it, so hopefully I'm not upsetting people who have made these patterns for those socks. So I guess that kind of counts as knitting, something that I'm hoping to finish up pretty quick here just so it can be off my to-do list. Crocheting, also haven't really done anything on the crocheting front. That doily is still sitting there, waiting, hoping, then I'll finish it. I might actually get to finish it tomorrow because I'll have a lot of spare time at work, I hope. So, I mean, it's a small project, so it's easy to bring to work and just kind of work on in between stuff. So hopefully I'll get that one done by the next podcast, or videocast, or vlog, whatever you call this thing. By next week, I'll hopefully have that done. So yeah, that's my kind of goal for the next week, is to finish working on this suri, to sew in the ends on those frickin' socks, to finish that doily, and then I think once I finish up the suri, I am trying to debate, I'm either going to work on, I have a friend coming over, and she's going to dig through my buckets and buckets of fiber and see if she wants to pick out a fiber for me to spin and then make her a hat out of it, either knit or crochet her a hat, which might be fun. But if she elects not to do that, then I think what I'm going to work on next is this really fun stuff that's just everything. Leavings, just, I mean, brilliantly colored and obscenely sparkly, more sparkle than somebody should ever put in fiber, ever. And again, I don't think these colors are really coming through right, but I'll take more pictures later. But yeah, it's just kind of a mashup of everything that this chick had left over. It's from this place called Smoky Mountain Spinnery in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I went there on my honeymoon, and I mean, it was inexpensive to grab this. She makes so many bats, and then she has all these leavings, and she just mushes them together, and they come out wacky and crazy like that. So what I like to do is when I work on a really serious project like suri lace, where I'm really focusing on making it very consistent, very smooth, very delicate, and really keeping it really quality spinning, then the next project I like to do is something just really ridiculous and crazy and carefree that I don't have to stress out about. So that's probably going to be what that project is, provided my friend does not want her hat done first. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, I can usually get those done in like an hour or two, whereas as you notice, it takes me quite a long time to get through other spinning projects on the wheel. Just because I don't tend to just like go at it for a few hours and just spin. I mean, first of all, there's just not that kind of time in my day. When you have a baby, there's maybe 5-10 minutes at a time available. But even after he goes to bed, if I sit down to spin, I'm spinning for like 5 or 6 minutes, and then I set it down for a second and I do something else, and then I spin a little bit more and then I set it down. It's just how I prefer to do it, so I spin a little bit slower than other people. So I guess these are going to be mostly progress updates and not finished spinning yarns each time. Oh, the last thing that I still want to work on that I'm hoping to get done this week is I want to set some of those skeins that I've recently finished, like the BFL, the single that I showed y'all last week. They'll still need to be set, maybe thwacked around a little bit, especially on that single, because I'm really scared that if I don't, it's not gonna full out and be a really stable yarn, if you can call a single yarn a stable yarn. So yeah, I have a lot of goals this week. We'll see if any of them actually happen. But that's about it. So I guess I'll see you guys next week. That was what was on the wheel. What's on the wheel? What's on the needles? What's on the hook? And I'll update you guys on some more of that stuff next week. All right, bye.